Hi everyone, Wrath here, and this is going to be my Undercity guide and what I recommend you do for Undercity. So, something I haven't gone over in my guide is other guides is respecing. In the previous three guides and the previous three trees, you're gonna pick a route, you're gonna go down it, and you're pretty much gonna just stay in it. Undercity is a little bit different, and this is where respecing really starts to take off. So you have two decisions to make for the Undercity. And the most important thing is to have gold bank. So mythic tributes of armament are actually extremely common. And as you can see, I also have quite a few refinement keys uh, while I'm making this video. I'm also gonna just stash my infernal hordes because at some point I am going to run a lot of hordes nonstop. You can only run about 5 to 6 hordes an hour, even if it kills you. It might. Um, that said, 72 keys is only about a day of an Infernal Horde, so it's important to not die with these. Um, the Mythic Tribute of Armament is functioning very similar to previous seasons. Everyone who runs it has a 25 to 75% chance to get a Mythic. And this is across most tournaments. I don't see a huge difference. I definitely don't recommend running Tournament 1 this season. I don't think I've seen anyone get 2. I could be wrong. Um, what I like to do for Undercities is, while I'm not spec'd into the Mythic Pranksters along the left side of the tree, which is the third one, I like to just go and, so when I first started running Undercities, I would use my lesser tributes. I did some of the runes. I did enjoy the talismans. Definitely do the lesser talismans. Definitely do the lesser Herodric cube materials. You're going to have rare versions of those as well. If you're low on master materials, absolutely do it. I have 458 Obdicite. This number just will not go down. So bear that in mind. I'm also back up to 18 Resplendent Sparks. That number, and I've crafted like 24 mythics so far. So you're gonna eventually get stuff. Now, most of you are probably wondering, how are you going to get all these sparks? Well, Blizzard introduced an interesting version of coding back in the Belial season. You could spend seasonal rank. What was it called? You could seasonal blessing into Belial spawn chance, and that Belial spawn chance was multiplicative algorithmically across your party. So if you were invested in Belial, you would see him about 1 in 3 to 1 in 6 times. If you grouped up with someone who didn't have their blessings allocated, you would see him 1 in 15. And the interesting thing is those numbers shifted further. So if I was grouped up with people who didn't cheat, I would see Belial 1 in 3 times. It was just super consistent. Whenever I was grouped up with people who I knew real money traded or real money traded in the past, I have one friend who's had 10 accounts banned. Whenever I would group up with that friend, I would see Belial 1 in 15 times. So the purpose of that story is that there is some weird coding synergy that Blizzard doesn't always execute perfectly on. So how does that translate? When I run Undercity with one other person who has Portal Prankster, we almost always get 3 to 5 Portal Pranksters. And when we're doing a Mythic Tribute, we'll get 3 to 4 Mythics. I think we've had a 5 Mythic run before, but I'm not positive. It may have just been 4. But consistently, it's 4 Mythics. If you get 5 or 6 Pranksters, which I do believe is possible, you're still capped at 3 bonus chests. But 3 or 4 Mythics for Undercity is really nice. And the interesting thing about the Portal Prankster is that um, once you've killed a Portal Prankster, your first Mythic is guaranteed. Um, Everybody gets it. Um, I it it also is based. It also appears to be based on the person who opens um, the beacon. So the text on the thing does say when you activate any beacon within the Undercity, there's a small chance to summon a Portal Prankster. So the person touching the beacon has to have Portal Prankster. If they don't, they're kind of wasting the beacon. I'm not 100% on this, but I'm like 99% certain on it. It was the more people who have it, like if the people out of group have Portal Prankster, this is how deep the Blizzard conspiracy theory goes. If all 4 people have Portal Prankster, even if 2 are sitting out being carried, the odds that you get enough Portal Pranksters so that there's 3 bonus chests and everyone gets 4 Mythics just skyrockets. Just skyrockets. If 2 of the people don't have Portal Pranksters, you're only going to see 2 or 3 Mythics. And if only one person has Portal Pranksters, even if they touch each beacon, the odds that you only see 1 or 2 goblins is super consistent, and the odds that you get a 1 Mythic run are very high. So, in my experience having run about 15 to 20 of these Mythic tributes thus far, respecing the Portal Pranksters. For me, it's 150 million just to move my points around. So the nice thing about having rank 7 is that you're like always locked into Mythic Prankster. And then if you have tributes you want to just spend, you can buy the talent trials and tributes. I will warn you, it's poorly coded, so sometimes it'll want a tribute of Titans or a tribute of Radiance, and no one has that, so no one can open it because it's not dropping this season, which is unfortunate. But you can get some of your lesser tributes spent as a bonus turning Undercity. And if you run Undercity on T12 consistently, sometimes it'll be like, hey, there's a Mythic tribute. I've made the mistake of spending my Mythic tributes opening that chest. You only get 1 Mythic out of it. But there will be a point in the season where everybody has a stack of Mythic tributes and you're going to be begging for that chest. And I've actually gotten 2 extra chests. Yes, I opened 2 additional Mythic tribute chests just to see what it did because I had the extra tributes lying around. It was worth it to experiment. I don't recommend early on. I don't recommend you do that because when you are hunting for those well-rolled GA mythics, you're gonna be wanting to save each tribute for a Rhoda. You're not gonna be wanting to waste it inside. But later on, you're definitely gonna be making that decision. Now, when I'm in farming mode, I want at least 3 ranks in Idols of War because then you start finding the orange ancestral tributes of armament all throughout Sanctuary. This is really good for helping to maximize your farm. And as you increase monster power, after your Tournament 12, as you increase monster power, you can anticipate that this will become even more impactful. Eventually, you're going to be speedrunning T12 and you are going to want it souped up even more. At this point, you're going to want to start running with points in gutter filth for the portal pranksters, and then you're going to put the rest of your stuff down the red side of the tree. I don't recommend going down the right side of the tree, specifically on hardcore, because you may as well just turn up the torment difficulty. It's really not worth doing until torment 12. I could be wrong, but that's just what I've come to discover. Softcore, completely different ball game. You get a lot more leeway over there because you can afford to make mistakes. You can afford for monsters to be unkillable or take longer to kill. You can afford for them to hit harder or one shot you. Hardcore, if you get one shot or the mob doesn't die, it's terrifying. On hardcore, when Astaroth has the health and the damage of a regular dungeon boss like Harbinger or Andariel, and that dog pool is taking up literally the entire room, and then other mechanics start to occur, that is absolutely terrifying. No one cares about that on softcore because if you die, you go again and you figure out what you did wrong and what hurt and just learn. On hardcore, it is completely different. When Astaroth's blood pool is all over the place, you definitely feel some stressors. So I don't recommend juicing this initially, but um, one thing that I did do early on was I just went Pathfinder to test out, and that that portal to the boss is nice for saving time. Eventually, um, having additional attunement and a four-player Undercity run where everyone is doing their job and it's a clean play club and you're clearing everything. Pathfinder is going to allow you to churn these runs out faster and faster. So that's something to be mindful of. The extra difficulty won't matter. And then eventually you can go to this last one where the run is it's like +4. This is either going to be Torment 14 or Torment 16, depending on how the monster power scales it. And you're going to get 2 extra levels of attunement and just super juiced run. So something to think about there. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Cheers.